That was the sound of us banging our heads on the table in disgust at what the Titans just put up against Buffalo in that atrocious game.
No, guys.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That's just what I was saying the whole time.
My heart.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying the whole time. The heart, your heart.
My heart.
I am feeling a cramp in the heart.
Titans played with no heart
that could
today.
just be the fried chicken.
Against Buffalo. Anyways, everyone, welcome into another episode of Titans Tube. If you can already tell by the lack of enthusiasm in our voices, the Titans blew it today up in Buffalo to the tune of 13-12. Bills win. Titans suck. I'm just kidding. That's a knee-jerk reaction, guys. We're not here to do that. We're still 3-2. Tied first in the AFC.
I mean, the game just ended, so yeah, we're still processing.
We're pretty
sadness.
dejected. I didn't know what attire to wear for the post game. I have my Hang 10 No Bad Day shirts, but really I should change it to Some Bad Days.
And on top of that, Lawan, whom that shirt is referencing, was hurt in the game, so it's not good.
He did get hurt.
It's not good at all.
Bad game all around. I don't know what to say. I mean, just outplayed, outcoached, terrible turnovers, bad drops. Nick Williams looking at you. The
big story, is probably going to be Nick Williams, but really, nobody really played particularly well except for the GOAT Ryan Suckup, who kept us in the game.
Yes. Okay, let's get initial thoughts on the games. Before we get into that, shout out to our sponsors, hang10.com. Use the code Titans2 for 10% off those shirts, which I know you're going to want to go buy right after this loss. And then also back to our Dog BBQ Sauce. And you can listen to this episode as a podcast by subscribing to Titans Tube on iTunes. Okay, throwing it to you, Amy. Initial thoughts on what you witnessed today. Before you mention anything, though, I want to say that this was the first time you picked the Titans, and once again, they lost in the weekly pick. So I assume that a lot of our viewers might be a little upset with you. How are you going to handle that this week? How are you going to handle the criticism from Titans Tube media, shall we say?
Honestly, Caleb, I don't care about criticism. I got to live my life, and I'm going to pick the way I pick. But I will say this does support my theory that the Titans play these videos in their locker room. Because both of our losses are ones that I picked for us to win. And so I'm sure they heard that, and they're like, oh, Amy says we're going to win. We're good. We're good. We can come out half awake and just drop some balls here and there. Maybe not hold on as tight to the ball as we normally do. It'll be all right. Come on, guys.
It wasn't.
Come on, guys.
Come on.
I think our lack of consistently being able to score touchdowns really showed up here. Obviously, no touchdowns in the game for us. And, I mean, the Bills had one, and we had none, and they won. If we had one touchdown, we would have won. I think definitely to move forward as a continual potential leader of the AFC South, we need to be able to score touchdowns. I'm very thankful, but it's also kind of sad that our most consistent player is our kicker. Like I said, very thankful. I'm not taking it for granted. Mason Crosby, my heart goes out to you. But, side note.
Mason Crosby missed 4 field goals and an extra point today. We've already seen Dan Bailey.
All right, I'm out of the loop on
We've
that.
already seen Dan Bailey miss a field goal in the Vikings and Eagles game. So, Ryan Suckup, you are a saint, and you are definitely for the boys. Cannot say the same for Nick
Don't
Williams.
take you for granted. I don't take it for granted, but I would love to not see you on the field as often as you are. Don't take that hard.
Except for extra points.
Extra points,
Yes, there we go. We just need to get the ball in the end zone. I feel like there are so many games last season I'm thinking about we could have won if we just gotten the ball in the end zone just once. Like, just consistently. I feel like we consistently maybe get something going and can move the ball, and then we don't get in the end zone. And a lot of times that's why we end up losing the game.
Yeah, this game was very reminiscent of the Browns game, actually, from last year, where it was just a field goal battle. We actually ended up on the winning side of that one in overtime. Thank you to Ryan Suckup. But it reminded me of that game where we just offense looked stagnant. Defense was holding them strong, still that bend but don't break mentality. We gave up that one touchdown to Josh Allen, but overall just could not do enough on offense against a Bills defense, which I believe was allowing 85% once teams got into the red zone, 85% touchdown ratio to other teams, so which is the worst in the league, I believe. So it's crazy that we couldn't take advantage of that. But Justin, what are your thoughts, man?
Oh man, I was hoping you wouldn't toss it to me. I was hoping I could just like slide by this podcast without having to talk.
You can't back out of Titans tape that easily, man. Can't get away from this one.
You're right. Okay, so this game, man. Actually, hey, I'm wearing an Exotic Smash Mouth shirt, sort of for a reason, and I will state that reason. This game kind of told me that, yes, this season we went into it with new coaches, with a few new players, a new scheme, new jerseys. But, man, we sure do seem like the same old Titans after that game. Just not coming prepared to play a team that is less talented and just on paper just didn't seem as good as we are. Or on the eyeball test. Like, we went out and beat Jacksonville and Philadelphia. Yeah, they were close games, but those were two of the better teams in the NFL. But, yeah, we just didn't, it seemed like Mike Vrabel took the week off, brought in Mike Mularkey to coach up this team for this game, because this looked like a Mularkey team that was prepared for this game.
Or unprepared.
Because we saw many times last year of the Titans just not coming out with that swagger against mediocre to below average teams. And, yeah, we just didn't come with that punch. And then, obviously, dude, the turnovers. What is going on with the offense? As Amy was saying, there's no consistency besides suck up. But we had been taking care of the ball pretty well for the most part. I think coming into this game, we had turned it over maybe three times.
We hadn't had any fumbles all season.
Yeah,
before
no
this
fumbles
game.
lost.
Yeah,
anyways.
no lost fumbles.
Lost.
Which was huge.
Yeah.
But yeah. Let's see. Taywan Taylor. I mean, that Taywan Taylor's first fumble, that kind of just was an omen for how the game was going to go. It was going to be ugly. The offense was going to struggle. But man, giving away three turnovers there, that is a killer. And Adoree Jackson almost made up for it completely by his one single turnover, that one beautiful interception he had, tipping it up in the air to himself. It kind of looked like that was awesome. That was the one highlight that wasn't Ryan Suckup, was Adoree Jackson's interception.
Honestly, even if we won this game, it wouldn't have been a satisfying win for me.
No.
No,
we deserve to lose, man. We deserve.
I would have come out of it being like, well, I'm glad we won for our record's sake, and to obviously move up in our standings in the AFC South, since most of the teams are losing this week. But it would not have been. It just wasn't a positive game, even if we would have come out with a win, which is a really sad thing to say and feel.
It seemed like we really missed our two biggest leaders on both sides of the ball. Delaney Walker could have been a huge X factor in this game. Wesley Woodyard, especially in the running defense, would have been a huge upgrade for us. And just the leadership that they bring too. Like, we need like Walker and Woodyard are both of two of our vocal leaders too while they're on the field too. And we didn't have that.
Well, and then we lost Lawan too,
well.
who's a vocal leader as well.
Yeah, and we lost Lawan, who was being chirpy out there for us without all of those guys out there. It just didn't seem like we had a lot of good motivation or like body language. I don't know. We just seemed kind of lackadaisical out there.
Yeah, I saw someone mention that they saw, I believe it was the Titans post of the team running out of the locker room to start the game, and said they looked like they were just half asleep, not motivated, just not excited for week 5 to come upon them.
Do you think that's just early onset of the season? Like, okay, we're a quarter of the way through. Like, do you think it's just kind of like, oh man, like, I don't know. It's like maybe the excitement of the beginning of the season is kind of worn off. Now we're getting into kind of like the nitty-gritty middle, and
maybe, but I mean, it could be that maybe the Titans legitimately overlooked this team and didn't feel, like they were much of a threat. They thought that they could walk in here to Buffalo and just come away with a win. I know we kind of talked about that in our preview episode about how we can't overlook this team, but maybe do the Titans not handle success very well? Do they let success go to their heads sometimes? And that's why we see this all the time, coming out with clunkers the very next game against a lesser opponent. I mean, and by the way, credit to the Bills. I mean, they came ready to play. They were a team that had the energy. They had way more energy than the Titans. So I'm not trying to trash the Bills in this podcast, but
they did.
When I say lesser team, I feel like they are.
I mean, definitely. Even through halftime, where it looked like we had just played terrible, we were still within 1 point, 1 possession game And it came down to the wire with how bad we
If this were
played.
against a better team, we would have been blown the F out.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, this is a complete opposite example of what we've been discussing in the previous 3 wins to the Titans, where the Titans looked like the worst team on paper against Houston, Jacksonville, and the Eagles, but we've been winning by our heart and our coaching. It was completely flip-flopped here. I thought Vrabel, LaFleur, and Pease got completely outcoached by McDermott and his crew over there. And Robisky, dare I say Robisky, as the wide. I'm not saying the wide receivers. He didn't do a lot, but
they didn't do anything in the passing game. We could have stacked the box the entire game and probably saw better success because they were not effective at all. I didn't think Josh Allen was throwing the ball particularly well, but they kept gashing us with LaShawn McCoy and Chris Ivory. I couldn't believe – there were a lot of things I couldn't believe about this game, but I could not believe on their last drive down 12-10, they were able just to run the ball right down the field without any hesitation or missteps. They just ran it right down our throats.
And I think that's where
– like, what is going on?
Where we're missing
what happened to our run
Woodyard
defense?
right there, the leader of when the game's on the line and defense really needs to step up and kind of carry what the offense has been lacking, not putting up production or putting up points. That's when the defense really has to step up. And, you know.
And we're talking about the defense, I think, putting together a pretty good game. But looking at the stats, and, I mean, I guess when you watch the game, the Bills' offensive line did fine. And wasn't Josh Allen like one of the most sacked quarterbacks in the league? Like, we sacked him one time, and they ran the ball all over us. So I feel like they won the line of scrimmage, really on both sides of the ball, but especially it was such a letdown to see how they were able to push our guys up front whenever their offensive line is kind of regarded as one of the weaker ones. It's one of the weaker position groups.
Well, I thought the biggest shock to me, honestly, coming into this week off that 3-game win streak was how poorly we coached. I thought, one, on Vrabel, the team looked unprepared from the start and just sleepy-eyed, just not ready to play this game, not prepared. Maybe all those weeks where he's giving them off till Wednesday are starting to catch up to him, where the team's just coming out of the gate sloppy and unprepared. I thought LaFleur was extremely inconsistent and just looked lost on some of the play calling out there. I
didn't know what the game plan was.
I didn't
on
either.
offense.
At one point, I'm like, okay, we're riding Derrick Henry this time. He busted 2 big runs. All of a sudden, he's out of the game. We're running with Deion Lewis. He gets stuffed behind the line, and then it's like, he didn't know where to go from there. So I thought his planning and play calling was inconsistent and just was trying. I don't know what he was trying to do, honestly. It was just confusing, which hasn't been the case. And then Pease, after I praised him last week for drawing up these exotic blitzes to get pressure in ways from safeties to linebackers to cornerbacks outside of just our front four, there was no kind of pressure on Josh Allen, a rookie who's been thrust into the starting position. If we pressure him a little bit, a guy who's already been sacked the most times in the league, he's going to make some mistakes. Like, everyone knows he's not a polished passer and NFL starting quarterback at this point. It's only because Nathan Peterman is their only other option is why Josh Allen is playing. So I was very shocked that we only recorded 1 sack from Jayon Brown, and it wasn't even on a blitz. It was just on a rollout where Jayon Brown made a great play to come out of his zone and tackle Josh Allen before he could make another run for it. So I do not understand the game plan or the schemes from all sides of the ball. Offense, defense, and just preparation that we brought into this game, and it came back to bite us. Big time, with an L. Big old L. We'll eat that L.
Maybe it'll be a wake-up call.
I think I'm taking away from this game, and pretty much just from the first 5 games of the season. Justin, you were talking about how, we played, against the Texans, Jags, and Eagles, how, when you look at our stats, they weren't as good as our opponents, but we always ended up winning because of our heart and our grit. And I kind of think I've come to the conclusion that, at least for these first 5 games, we've been the type of team that matches the level of our opponent. So if we're playing the Eagles or if we're playing the Jags, one of the better teams in the league, we've been able to step up and play them and beat them. But if we're playing teams like the Bills, who aren't one of the best teams in the league, and not necessarily saying we're way better than them, but I definitely think we're a better team than them, we start kind of play down to their level, and then it's kind of like a toss-up of oh man, are we going to win this game? And then in this case, we didn't. Yeah. But even, like I said, even if we did, it still would not have been a good win. So I think we just don't really have an identity, and we're kind of just matching our opponents at this point.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. It's like we're a team that's like, hey, are you one of the best teams in the NFL? Well, look out, because we're gonna come ready to play, and we're gonna play you close. And hey, you better watch out, because we just might beat you. And then for the weaker teams in the league, are you one of the worst teams in the NFL? Well, hey, we're going to come down and play to your level. And guess what? You just might beat us.
Exactly. Another big storyline that I came away with from this game was all week, Titans fans were talking about how Titans don't get any national media attention from this game, and especially when Taylor Lewan addressed it in the locker room, and it really kind of blew up. I thought that would generate. I know Vrabel dismissed it, being like, we don't need media attention. I actually thought it would generate a type of swagger for the team, where they would come into games where they're clearly the better team, like today against Buffalo, and bring that swagger of like, yeah, you know what, we're talking about national media attention. This is a game we should go in and handle them, because we're a more talented team.
Hold up to it.
Yeah, they hold up to it. It almost gives them a little extra motivation.
They talk the talk and walk the walk.
And I think the rebuttal from the national media is like, well, you got to keep on showing us something, because we don't really believe that there's any kind of foundation to give you that media coverage you want and the respect you deserve. And after today, I'm like, man, that's right. We're going to get hounded, absolutely hounded,
we are gonna get
by the national media after what we wanted last week for losing this game today. And it just did not generate the type of swagger and motivation that I thought it would after hearing Taylor Lewan demand some national media respect. So I was shocked by that. Yeah. Maybe, I know we've been dealing with some injuries here early on to some of our leaders, which might play a huge factor in this role, but I think we need a little more leadership to kind of generate that swagger, that motivation amongst the rest of the team.
I mean, this is a team of what, 52 players on the roster? 53. Yeah, I mean, roster. Yes, two of our
hopefully 52 after today. See you, Nick Williams. Peace out, bro.
Yeah, we've had some horrible injuries at the beginning of the season that were obviously big players for us, but a 53-man roster, there should be more than just 2 or 3 guys that are the glue to this team as far as leadership goes, I think. So I mean,
across the board, I think we have some leadership positions. I mean, yeah, injuries have really knocked us back there with Lewan and Woodyard and Walker, but I mean, we still got Jarrell Casey, we still got Kevin Byard,
Marcus
Logan
Mariota.
Ryan. Yeah, I mean, he's not like the hoorah.
Whoa!
Let's get the team up.
Easy, Eric Decker.
I mean, he's more of like the quiet.
Okay, he's no Jameis, all right? That's what you're trying to say. Hoorah,
He has not groped an Uber driver.
Regardless, it was a big letdown by the Titans today. We got some fan questions from you guys. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
We shall answer them now. How about that?
They're not going to. What Titans fans are going to watch this podcast?
I don't know.
I barely have the motivation to do it.
We really were struggling on motivation. As you can see, I substituted my victory beer for something a little harder this time around.
Me too.
So I'll take a sip of that, and then we'll get into some questions.
Chug.
Burns so much as that loss.
I'm just going to watch this game over here.
Here we go. From Billy Rutledge on Twitter. We got the question, what's a bigger problem right now with the offense? The offensive line or the receivers? Amy, with the hand up first.
Oh,
it was both
receivers
today.
You think the receivers are a bigger problem?
I think
offensive line got manhandled today.
They did, but I just think there's no connection. There's no chemistry. We're starting to kind of see some with Marcus and Corey Davis a little bit, which is really exciting. But I just feel like there's a lack of chemistry, a lack of connection, and a lack of trust, apparently, in the quarterback-receiver relationship. So I'm going to say receivers. I mean, if we have a great O-line and Marcus is able to throw it to all these open receivers, but if they can't catch it or if they're not in the spot where he's throwing the ball because there was miscommunication, then what's the point of having a good O-line?
Yeah.
There we go.
I would agree. If I had to pick one, it would be receivers. It's easy to point out Nick Williams in this game dropped a touchdown pass that would have made it 13-10. So their final field goal would have tied it up instead of beating us. Taywan Taylor fumbled. We've seen Corey Davis fumble the ball this year, but the fumble went out of bounds. Dropped passes. I mean, yeah, none of these receivers you can really trust right now. And when they do catch the ball, my first thought is hold the ball, hold the ball, hold the ball. And I shouldn't have to think that after every single time a receiver gets his hands on it. So, we need to pick it up in the receiver category. I felt, even though Rashard Matthews hadn't done anything for us on the field so far this year, if he had just been patient, like that could have been him running where Nick Williams is running and been at these spots that Mariota can trust him. Because he did, say what you want about Matthews, him and Mariota did have one of the better connections on the team. I don't think he drops that pass that Nick Williams
or the pass
dropped.
that Darius Jennings dropped in overtime against the Eagles last week.
I think Rashard Matthews makes that play. I think Rashard Matthews doesn't let that pass get intercepted today that Mariota threw to Nick Williams. I think Matthews is I don't know what the play was there, but I think I'm pretty sure Nick Williams was clearly at fault there. I saw people tweeting about it, how he should have been running harder on his route on his slant, and he wasn't even turning around looking for the ball. And Mariota, after the play, went right to Nick Williams and was talking to him, bro, you effed me on that, and hopefully he cut him as they were walking to the sideline. I don't think. Oh no, he didn't, because Nick Williams.
Well, if there is 7 billion people in the world, anyway. 699,999,999 whatever.
Would have caught
that that was Nick Williams' fault. It was only Jared Stillman who thought it was Mariota's fault. So burn on you, Jared Stillman. Thank God you've been.
I did see.
Thank God you've been
tweet,
shunned to the cold tundra of Buffalo, but you got the win today. So boo.
Mariota didn't play particularly well either. He's not the reason we lost this game, because he wasn't getting any help from his receivers
or his offensive line.
But Mariota shouldn't be free from criticism either. And where's Mariota not using his legs? Whether that was by design or Mariota was just a little more timid to run with the football. But Mariota's got to use his legs a little more and be more decisive, especially when the offensive line isn't holding up protection, isn't having a good game. You've got to be ready to take off in an instant and be ready to make a play, which he did. We saw one of those Madden hurdles from Mariota.
Do you think he's
about time they took notice of how we play Madden with the Titans? Thank you.
But do you think he's scared to use his legs too much, especially since Blaine Gabbert is?
He was not scared leading up to this game. He was running the ball aggressively against the Eagles and Jags.
Yeah, it was shocking. I mean, when I talk about the team being unprepared, I thought Mariota looked unprepared from the get-go. I think we came out on their first possession with 4 straight passes, and Mariota was off the mark early to a slant on Derrick Henry, and then he looked bad. He just looked a little off. I want to answer that question. O-line or the receivers?
Oh, yeah.
I would still say the receivers, but in a different manner than you guys say. I think our top 3, we're pretty set on our top 3 receivers. I like the potential Corey Davis has, especially what he showed us against the Eagles. I like Taywan Taylor and Tajay Sharp, quietly good and consistent game today.
Yeah. He made some good third down conversions.
His play is definitely going to be overlooked from the core group of receivers today. But I think after those 3, the gap between the next 2, Nick Williams and Darius Jennings, might be the biggest in the league between our wide receiver 3 and who's up next. And I think that's gonna haunt us down the road. I think we're already seeing it in some of these big games. I mean, we had a Darius Jennings drop against overtime last week against the Eagles. Luckily, we pulled that out, and then Nick Williams here today. So I still think it's our receivers are the problem, but I think it's more of our receiver depth at that position.
And we didn't come into the season we didn't think we would be in this position because Rashard Matthews screwed us.
Well, everyone thought in the offseason that we were already shallow at receiver, and then once Rashard Matthews bailed on us, we're even more shallow. We're shallower than a kiddie pool in the desert.
Very shallow of you, Rashard.
Up top. Right, okay, next question. Thank you for that question. Okay. Here's a good one from Super. Hold on, this is a good name here. Super Matt Ultimate 3 and 2. He says, and this is a good question, why was Derrick Henry not the fourth quarterback solely? I think it was clear that Derrick Henry was having a much better game running the ball, probably the best game all season. I mean, he had 11 carries for 56 yards for a 5.1 average. Dion Lewis actually outtouched him with 12 carries for 34 yards, but I feel like, stats show, we saw more Dion Lewis. I know it was only one more touch, but he definitely outsnapped Henry. What's your guys' take on this? Why was Henry not getting more play, especially in the fourth quarter?
I thought he was. Was he not in?
Well, we weren't
the fourth
riding
quarter
him.
for.
We obviously.
for
I
a
think
little
the
bit.
question more of like, why weren't we riding the potential and the momentum that he was bringing the Titans? Because he was obviously generating some push with a 5.1 average yards per carry. It's 2 runs. That's a first down. We could have driven down the field, easily got a touchdown. But
I mean, yeah, you'd like to see us go with the hot hand there all the way through.
don't even add in Deion Lewis's fumble
I don't know
too.
If I'll have a good answer
Sorry
for this.
to interrupt you. Just wanted to throw that in
Yeah,
there.
that killed us. Like, and that came at a horrible time because we were like driving at midfield. So yeah, Deion Lewis. I mean, I don't know if he made any plays. I mean, he caught the ball a few times. Wasn't really effective on the ground, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna have a good answer for this because I'm trying to remember specifically what was going on in the fourth quarter and how we were using those 2 backs, because it did feel like Henry was carrying the ball better in the fourth quarter. And then just, I guess at some point we went to Lewis and didn't.
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for this. I mean, I'm kind of perplexed as well.
I'd have to rewatch.
I'm kind of perplexed as well, and I kind of don't think we can give a good answer because we weren't the ones calling the shots.
Yeah, well, I think that's more where it lies with me in answering this question. Is I think Derrick Henry was clearly the better running back, but for some reason LaFleur didn't stay with the hot hand there, which I praised him for doing that against the Eagles, letting Mariota just carry the team on his shoulders. And I think from what I'm just kind of judging this question maybe out of context, but I think he's asking like, why weren't we riding Henry's hot hand in the fourth quarter when he was clearly pounding that Bills team and has been known to run much better in the fourth quarter against teams.
Yeah, or is it more of an issue of we instead of riding Henry, who had the hot hand, we reverted back to passing the ball instead of giving the ball to Lewis? Do you think we just opted to pass whenever we should have been running with Henry more?
I don't know. All right.
I'll have to rewatch.
We'll get back to that
fourth
question. Super,
but
Matt, Ultimate Team, whatever your name is.
But I agree. I thought, Henry was running effectively in the fourth quarter and helping move the ball. And then we started giving it to Lewis, or we just started passing the ball, and that we know where that got us, not in the end zone. So, well, it should have. Nick Williams. Oh man,
it is going to bite me. Okay, I think we
while.
answered inadvertently some more questions that we got from Twitter from Frizzate, or touched on subjects anyways about the O-line and Derrick Henry, Marcus Mariota not running more when we thought he would. So let's move over to some questions on Instagram. Hang10 says, "Can you catch the ball?" I would like to say I can catch the ball better than Nick Williams, but I am not sure. It's been a while since I've caught the ball. Amy, do you think you could do better than Nick Williams at this point? Would you be able to catch that touchdown?
Yes. Are you kidding me? That's like, I'm way better at catching than I am
open.
throwing. I definitely think I could have caught that.
Yeah. Okay, here's a lot of questions. We were just talking about our receivers, and that's mainly the questions we're getting right here. Titans World says, why do our receivers, other than Corey Davis, suck so bad? And then another guy, NFL Titan, says, we definitely need to sign Dez. It's not a debate anymore. What do you guys think? Hold on, before we answer that, another guy, Jorge1217, says, Dez Bryant, 3 exclamation points. Dylan Jackson says, why don't we sign Dez to our sorry wide receiver core? Caden567 says, when will we sign a new wide receiver? Because these guys, other than Corey, are costing us games. Philip Matthews says, why are our receivers keep dropping passes? Nick Green says, do you think we should give Dez Bryant a call after all these passes? Brady the Cubs fan.
Nobody likes our receivers. That's
Brady
the
Cubs
theme
fan
I'm
said,
getting.
should we get Calvin Johnson? Haven't heard of that one. David CF28 says, why don't we get Dez? Crying face emoji. Yeah, so a lot of questions on bolstering the wide receiver depth. Amy, you sound
What do we have to lose by signing Dez Bryant? That's what I'm asking.
on the Dez train.
I'm on the Dez train. I've
room.
loved Dez Bryant from day one. I don't get what we have to lose. I mean, yeah, like he and Mariota haven't been able to work up chemistry, but it sounds like looks like Marcus hasn't been able to really work up chemistry with any of the receivers that we already have. Like, I just don't think we have anything to lose.
Corey?
I mean, we see Corey Davis is exempt. When I talk about the receivers, he's not in that category. He's his own. I'm talking about everyone else. I just don't know what we have to lose by signing him. The guy can catch the ball from anyone. Like, I'm for it.
Now that the NFL's ruling it.
I am.
Boom.
No, good one. I am totally for it. And I think he would bring, he would bring a great energy to the team too. Like he's a little fireball.
Well,
like I know he's got some drama. People will see that as drama.
He's a diva.
And yeah, he is a little bit dramatic, but like we just don't have many people like that. So I feel like he and Lawan, that's pretty much it. It would be fun to watch. I think it'd be kind of good.
It's funny that you used.
I mean, I've never been crazy about the idea of signing Dez, but at this point in the season and after watching the game we just watched, I'm open to it, and that's as far as I've ever gone with wanting to sign Dez Bryant. If it came out tomorrow, we cut Nick Williams, we signed Dez Bryant, I'd be like, okay, I feel like that's a clear upgrade.
I think that's
obviously.
what most people are seeing, and what I think we're seeing at this point too. I haven't been big on signing Dez because I didn't think we need him. After the last 2 weeks, watching these potential game-winning balls go through our receivers' hands, Darius Jennings, Nick Williams, I'm like, yeah, Dez Bryant has to be a better option than these guys, right? And it's funny that you brought up Dez's like passion and fire, Amy, because that's been a lot of people's rebuttal when Titans fans are like, we need to sign Dez Bryant. Everyone's like, well, he could ruin the locker room. But you're right, as we don't have a lot of players that will get in their teammates' face and call them out and be like, yo, our offense needs to do better. And I will vocalize this on the sidelines to your face.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how the team would respond to a player like that, honestly. Like, if it does cause drama and rifts in the locker room, then obviously we can address that when it happens. But I don't think it will. I think the fire would be like a good thing. I think it'd be the kick in the ass that they need.
Yeah. Another thing about the idea of signing Dez Bryant, though, is I mean, we're not the only. I feel like we don't.
Okay, you may restart.
Try to talk again. We can't be the only receiver needy team out there. There's got to be other reasons why Dez Bryant isn't getting signed, and it's not because of talent, not because of attitude, or his diva-ness. I mean, maybe he's asking for too much money and we can't afford to pay him. I mean, there's got to be other reasons, and it can't just be like an obvious, like the logical thing to do that we're thinking. Because there's no way. There's got to be other reasons. There's no way 32 teams literally have their receiver core set. And
you look at Dez's former team, the Cowboys. They're struggling in the receiving category. Teams like Jacksonville can use another receiver. Him back. New England looked like they could have used another receiver until this week, and then all of a sudden they're looking like one of the best, across. Yeah, and now
they're just waiting for Edelman
and Josh Gordon to kind of get up to speed. With how many teams have wide receiver needy teams that have already passed on Dez Bryant this season, it's hard for me to believe that there's not something else there. I'm sure he's asking for too much money. He thinks he's worth more than he is at this point in his career.
Probably.
I mean, dude hasn't put up 1,000-yard receiving season in like 5 or 6 years.
Because he's been playing with an injured Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott.
He was bad with Dak. Him and Dak, I don't think got along. I think that had a lot to do with the
I don't
divide
think that stat doesn't really bother me. I don't think that's his fault.
Well, it might be his fault if he's asking for money like he has put up 1,000-yard receiving seasons the last few years, but he hasn't. But regardless, I will say I think if we really want to be a true playoff contender this season, I think we're gonna have to find some other answer at our wide receiver depth position outside of Nick Williams and Darius Jennings. Heck, put Adoree Jackson back there. Or Dane Cruikshank, man. Yeah. He's still got 66 yards and a touchdown, 1-for-1 catch rate on the season.
I like the Adoree.
Better than a lot of people. Oh, also a position we haven't even mentioned here, tight end. Jonnu Smith is absolutely showing us nothing in the game, which is a huge loss.
Why don't we play Luke Stalker more? Or throw it to him more?
I'm like up to here with Johnny.
The dude's got hands like bricks. He can't catch either. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. He's caught the ball better than Jonnu Smith.
That's what I'm thinking.
I couldn't even tell he was in the game today.
And Jonnu are just
they're just
forgettable
there.
players. Yeah. It's almost like, we need the 11th man on the field right now. Put Stalker or Jonnu out. They're not doing anything. I know Stalker's been praised for his blocking.
At least Stalker has some semblance of of positive about him. I don't see any positives with how Jonnu's playing right now. I mean, we can at least count on Stalker to make a block or to make a catch whenever we throw him the ball, but that's not really part of his repertoire. He's not going to go out and run routes and be a Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski kind of guy. So, yeah, Jonnu needs to be that player for us.
And it seems like even Marcus is starting to lose faith in Jonnu. On that same play where Nick Williams dropped the potential touchdown pass. It looked like Johnny Smith was open on his route on the other side of the field, and thank you to Teron Davenport for tweeting. It says Marcus on his progression saw Jonnu and looked past him, continued on his progression, just does not have the faith
He's not
in
even going to throw it to him if he's
not
open.
even
Why
gonna
is he
throw it
even
to him
on
if
the
he's
field?
open. Yeah, why is he on the field?
If that's true,
That's a
yeah.
route.
If that's true, then why is he on the field
Someone else
at
could be
all?
running.
If he's wide open and Mariota refuses to throw him the ball because he has no trust in him, then don't put him in the game at all.
So that
if
was,
that's the
I don't know
case.
if Marcus meant it that way, but we're sure taking it that way and spinning it that way. No, but I mean, I think it does. I think everyone watching Jonnu knows that he needs to step up his level of play for the Titans. But we need some help in the pass catching category. I don't think we'll give our pass catchers another advantage, Justin, in a preview episode again until we see something more. Okay.
No way. How did Nick Williams drop that? Oh, sorry.
No, that's true.
Man. Oh, the Titans. Why am I a fan? Why are we fans of this team? So much jubilation that we can share being fans, and then so much heartbreak and just
So much.
confusion
Kinda like
and
life.
disappointment. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's about the. Well, I think I've hit at least on all
hit
the
me with
subjects.
another question,
We had a lot
bro.
of questions, but they, like I said, they mostly revolved around the same subjects, which we've harked on. So let's just get into closing thoughts. We'll wrap this one out because I'm kind of done talking about this game. We need to move on from this.
Thank goodness I'm over this. Yeah. Let's go play Baltimore.
Yeah,
who just
I
lost to
mean,
the
well,
Browns.
Balt-
Yep.
Jacksonville lost. Baltimore
The Colts lost.
Colts.
I mean, as far as where the standings are stacking up, that's cool, but it's still sickening that we couldn't take advantage of the opportunity laid before us here. At least we don't have to hear about any Titans fans complaining about the power rankings, because wherever they put us, we
I wouldn't be
deserve.
surprised if they
at this
went ahead and
point.
dropped us like 31st, knowing national media. Oh, Titans lost to the Bills. They suck. They're the worst team in the world.
They are who we thought they were. Yeah, you got us. Okay.
The only thing that'll make me mad is
You
if the
got us.
national
We're
media
not-
starts talking about
we
how
seem
great
like
Josh Allen
the
is as
same
a quarterback
for the
and that he
Titans.
led this team to victory over us. That's what's going to make me mad because that is not what happened.
That's not the story. Josh Allen defends
He
home
leads
turf,
his team.
game-winning
beats the
drive
Tennessee
ever
Yes.
in his career.
If they call that a game-winning drive,
Yeah.
that was all LaShawn McCoy and Chris Ivory. He did no.
Yeah. The Bills running game beat the Titans, and
Yeah.
Nick Williams
There we
beat
go,
the
I like
Titans.
it.
I mean, I don't even
don't
want to
like
bring
it,
up
but-
Nick Williams' like one good punt return because of how he just erased that with that drop in the game. Yeah.
Let's just
He
keep
did
it
have a good
back
punt
there.
return.
Just
Yeah,
keep it
I
back
completely
there.
forgot about
honestly,
that.
him and Darius Jennings are fine as returners. In fact, pretty good as returners. But put them at wide receiver, and they are god awful. That's
Something
crazy.
with running a route, I guess.
Yeah, if that's all they can do, though, then I don't really want him on the team. Like, guys have to be able to do multiple things. I don't want to have a guy just be the kick returner,
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
literally all that they
We
give
can find
us.
a kick returner.
Like,
Yeah,
we
that
can
would be
find
on
a guy
defense.
on
I mean,
defense or a
So, yeah, we can find more depth at that position that would help us out in special teams as much as they have. I agree, Justin.
But we shouldn't really have to
agree.
depend on that position anyways. It's
Yeah.
sad that we're sitting
Thank you.
here thinking like,
Yeah.
how can we get better? We're just trying to find any spot to be better.
Yeah. Okay, so moving forward, Amy, how are you moving forward from this game as a Titans fan?
Had to
What are you
quit on
taking
us.
away? What are you looking ahead to this week and to the Ravens game, Baltimore next weekend?
I kind of just want to forget about it and move on. I don't really think there's anything positive to take from it, honestly, or to learn from. I really just think it just almost seems like a fluke. I don't know, kind of like a dream, like we were playing in a dream state. So I think you just kind of, as a team, just move on. As a fan, just move on. Like, it's not the end of the world. We're still in a better position probably than any of us thought we would be in at this point in the season. Let's just move forward. That's all you can do. You can just move forward.
Justin?
Yeah. Well, you know how after Philadelphia, we were riding high? Well, now we're back down low, but let's I mean, we can't get too low because, I mean, if we know anything about the Titans, you know, last year we put up a dud against Arizona, San Francisco on the West Coast when we were 8-4 trying to secure a playoff spot or win the AFC South. We come home, lose to the Rams, we lose 3 straight, and things are looking terrible with the Jags coming in, and then boom, we turn it on and we beat Jacksonville to get into the playoffs. So I mean, this week is a week to week league. I'm expecting the Titans to regroup and to come out and play a good game against Baltimore. Honestly, maybe this is a little bit of a wake up call. It's still disappointing nonetheless. I think we're all expecting to win. It stings. It kind of stings, man. But it's not the end of the world, like you were saying. So you just gotta regroup and look forward to next week.
Have been good at home.
And we're good at home. I like our chances anytime we're playing at home. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, Baltimore just coming off a loss to the Browns. I think we can win that game. You can win any game.
Yeah.
The Bills can win a game, obviously. They beat the Vikings, who are up 17-3 on the Eagles right now. So any team can win any given Sunday. So let's not mope, Titans fans. It's okay. We're still tied for first in the AFC South. Not that means anything at this point, and that doesn't make me feel better at all about this game. But yeah, that's my takeaway. I'm not trying not to get too low.
We can be low today. That's fine.
Yeah,
just move forward.
Got
Tomorrow.
another game.
Tomorrow's a new day. Just move forward.
So get blackout drunk tonight, and
There.
then continue on with your life.
Can you refill my cup, Amy?
BRB.
Refilleth my cup. Oh.
It's time.
Caleb,
what
honestly,
is
one
your
day
takeaway?
I just
I would
hope
like
to
to
root
know.
for a Titans team that when we're clearly the better team on paper going up against one of the weaker teams in the league, that we can just blow them out of the water like the Rams do to those poor teams, or like the Rams are doing this season to those poor teams. But we're not there yet, which is unfortunate. So I have to just continually get way too many gray hairs week in and week out on Sundays than I deserve, because I'm still young and I deserve to live.
Amen.
The funny is you don't have any gray hairs.
Do
Not
you
yet.
though?
But my takeaway is, all I can hope for is that it's a wake-up call from the top down. And I'm talking about Vrabel. I'll talk about J-Rob, man. I think Titans fans have been seeing our lack of receiver depth or pass-catching depth. I would like to see him make.
J-Rob
I
makes
feel
a
like
move?
the consensus
we've
between
seen him
us
make
three is
mid-season
that we're
moves
going to
before,
need to
so-
find either our players need to step up like 200% from what they've been playing, or we need to find outside help from another source that's not on the team right now.
Des.
Right?
Des.
So I'm saying from the
Des.
top
Des.
down,
We're
I
pretty
think
much
the
saying
team
Des
needs
Bryant.
to use this. J-Rob, Vrabel, LaFleur, Pease, and all the players as a wake-up call. Move forward. Yeah, the NFL is a tough league to play in. Anybody can beat anybody on any day, essentially. But we are the better team on paper, and I still believe that. Credit to the Bills and Josh Allen for leading that game-winning drive. No, I'm just kidding. Credit to the Bills, guys. You won. You played good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to us turning it around next week against a good Baltimore team.
Their defense looked great. I don't know if we were just playing that bad or their defense playing that good, but their defense looked great, and their run game looked consistent. They deserve those shout-outs.
Yes.
They look better than
my only
at
bright
any other
spot
point this
was
season.
Ryan Suckup.
what
Thank
the
God
Titans-
that we have a good kicker, because if we were dealing with kicking issues, I don't know where we would be these past 3 seasons.
Insane.
We would be a completely different team
Ryan
these past 3
Suckup,
seasons.
you the
without
real
Suckup.
MVP.
Seriously, man.
I'm buying your jersey.
You the MVP.
Brett Kern, yep.
Brett Kern too, man. He had a 61-yard punt. I remember one punt. It might have been the 61-yarder where the receiver was literally having to run in the opposite direction to catch the punt.
Whatever
So,
Suckup, I think
go
Suckup and
kickers.
Kern
Go
need to, need to get together and decide if we need Des or not. And honestly, whatever they say, I will believe. If they say yes, I'm all in.
Yeah.
If they say no, we don't
Put
need
those
that,
guys
then
in
I
charge
will
of the
trust
team.
them. I
Yeah.
trust them. Let's go.
I'll roll with that. We'll close on
like
that
that
note.
idea.
Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, let us know your comments. I'm sure we passed over a lot of the stuff or did not get to all your questions. Do you guys think we should sign someone at receiver for some receiver depth? Should it be Des Bryant?
Or are we just? Or is this
True.
a knee-jerk reaction and we should have
Is patience an option?
Patience
I don't
is
know.
not an option
Patience an
anymore.
option. Because I feel like I'm a patient guy, but I'm almost at that point where
I
I'm
think
like,
we're
yeah, maybe
patient
pick up that
as
phone.
the
Because,
Titans
man, the
channel.
receivers
As
are so
Titans fans, we're
discouraging
very
today.
patient. Amy's calling Des on the phone right now. Our patience is running thin, seeing all these drops and
you have
turnovers
his
from
number.
our
Nice.
receivers and Mario's inconsistent play and chemistry with them. So let us know your thoughts on that.
But that has a lot to do
I'm
with
trying to
it.
close, dude. I thought you wanted to move
You're trying
past
to
this
close
game.
the
I can't
show,
move past if you don't shut up.
You keep bringing up.
Anyways,
things, and
if you're
I
listening
feel
to
like
this
I
as a
wanna ask you
podcast,
stuff,
thank you
but
very much.
never
Make
mind.
sure to go subscribe to that podcast on iTunes. Give us a good rating and review. Come on, get those ratings up, right? If you like listening to us, rate us, review us.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Okay,
And
yeah.
support our Patreon. 'Cause
Definitely.
That is
The bread and butter.
the bread and butter. Exactly. I would love
'Cause
to
we
quit
don't wanna
all
get
my other
real
jobs
jobs,
and
honestly.
just talk about Titans for the rest of my life, because then I would probably die at age 30
Because of stress.
from stress. So maybe I don't want to do that, actually. Anyways, thanks for watching. We're signing out. Titans Tube, Caleb, Amy, Justin.
Love you. Mwah.